What's the best way to create an environment of trust and collaboration among members of a team? Does it just occur organically through time, or can a leader help cultivate it?
Certainly, a leader has to help cultivate it. All right. A leader's responsibility is to everything culture. Now, the best way to build trust on a team is to teach people to trust each other one-on-one. So when you ask me this question about trust in a team, you say, do the people on the team know how to build trust with people one-on-one? Work on your one-on-one trust building skills and make every person have a respect for speed to trust. Speed to trust is an interesting concept, and you can study it on the internet, but the whole point is, how fast can you get to the point where you trust someone and someone trusts you? Now, if you can build that culture in your team, and maybe even we should be teaching it here at CU Answers more than we do, and then that's contagious. Trust is contagious, one person at a time. So then that's the best way to get team trust.
I think to some degree, team building happens organically in any organization, but cultivating it is certainly something that I think needs to happen. If I think about my experience in my team, being sales personalities, right? So team building is a little bit maybe easier in that environment because they're already doing things together, like traveling on the road, reviewing each other's work, helping each other with proposals and RFPs. So it does foster a little bit more of that interaction. But for those teams that don't have structured ad hoc day-to-day kinds of activities, I think something structured from a team building needs to take place, whether it's a team event or just group projects. As a manager, it's certainly my responsibility to make sure that nobody's working, isolated and in a vacuum, that they're spending time building their brand, helping teammates, in those kinds of things as well.
Yeah, my opinion is it does not happen by itself. It has to be cultivated. I think a leader has to take the time to communicate with their team and make their team feel included in whatever the process is. So, a perfect example in my world, we're looking at a new accounting software package for CU Answers. If I were to do the research myself and mandate a solution and tell the team, here's our new tool, they're not going to feel like they have any buy-in, and they probably won't embrace the decision as much as if I had each team member with me during the demos, talk about selection process, get all their input, and make a collaborative decision. Then they feel like there's buy-in. Even if that wasn't necessarily the tool they would have picked, they would feel like they had a say, they were valuable in the process, and the outcome would be far superior.
I think trust and collaboration really is something that we need to work to evolve every day here. And it's an important part of our success at CU Answers. We have team members from very diverse backgrounds, very unique personalities and styles coming into the room. And I think the care and control on that trust is probably the top item that I'd want to make sure that we succeed with on a daily basis. I think we come together, I think we work together, but I think we recognize, respect the diversity and foster that diversity. That's really where we have an opportunity to hit it out of the park.
I think one of the most important things for a leader to think about as they're trying to build trust in a team is not every member of the team is going to get there at the same pace. Some people trust easily. Some people have to really work to earn that trust. So if you be patient and work with them and ask for employee feedback, you can get there together.
Well, for starters, I don't know that there's any single best way to cultivate that kind of teamwork, right? But if we take a look at what the ingredients are in a healthy team, a team that's working well together, the first thing that they have to have in building that trust, I think, is a common goal. What's the team's purpose? What are we trying to accomplish, right? So having that common goal, I think, is the starting point. Next, you have to have open and honest communication. Team members have to be able to communicate with each other. Management has to be clear in expectations. Following up on that, if there's conflict, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, we've talked about conflict in a previous class, but if it becomes a splinter with that team and is allowed to fester, that's a problem. So management has to be able to recognize when that happens and step in and deal with it in a straightforward and open manner. Honesty is also very important. And lastly, get to know your team members, right? And they should get to know each other. So if you can set up even some social situations outside of work, that can go a long way towards creating that trust and building bonds in your team.